How's it going tonight, everyone? Welcome to another wonderful edition of Wayward Guns Rewatch. Geoffrey being not joined tonight by Kate, unfortunately. Things have kind of been going a little astray. On top of that, if you notice the title of the episode, we're actually breaking down episode 9 of season 1, Home, when we still haven't done episode 7, which was Hook Man, and 8, which was Bugs. But the reason for that is a mixture of everything that's going on with Kate, why she can't be here tonight. But it's also because I am excited because tonight we are actually getting our first outside guest on the show. And without further ado, let me introduce KJ from the Supernatural Opinions podcast. How's it going tonight?
Hi, I'm so excited to be here. I'm thrilled.
Me too. I don't know if you just caught that, but you are our first outside guest.
Yeah, that's exciting. I did not know that.
Well, I mean, this is only the technically 7th episode we've covered of the show so far. So, and let me say, when I asked you to come on, you were immediate with saying which episode you wanted.
Yes, I knew I wanted this one.
I didn't know why you were so quick on it until I watched the episode, but now all I can say is damn.
Yeah, I was like, okay, like what's coming up? I was like, okay, well, it's either going to be 9 or 12. Like those are the two big hitters in the first half of the season. And I love this episode so much. I'm really excited that we're going to talk about it.
And which episode is it? Season 1, episode 9, entitled Home. And oh God, I actually have to bring something else up real quick because I made a slight mistake. Because what's the use of doing this if we're not giving proper credit? But this episode was written by Ken Girardi, or directed by Ken Girardi, written by Eric Kripke, with Sarah Gamble and Ray L. Tucker as the story editors, produced by McGee, as always. And this one has a few good guests on it. You get a brief sight of Jeffrey Dean Morgan as John Winchester in flashbacks and a nice pre-credit scene. Samantha Smith playing Mary Winchester, both in flashbacks and as the spirit. The lovely Kristen Richardson as Jenny. Loretta Devine as one of my favorite characters that's been introduced in the early goings of the show, but Missouri Mosley. And then you get Don Thompson as Mr. Genther, the mechanic. Jerry Rector as Joe the plumber, and Ginger Page as Sorry. At that point, her credit was as Hallie Page Philippe. But a lot to go into with this one. I'm just going to start going through the synopsis notes. Cut me off at any time.
Yeah, for sure.
The cold open starts in Lawrence, Kansas. It's a young mother and her daughter. Daughter comes out, is afraid of something in the closet. So her mother comes up, reassures that nothing's there, tucks her in, puts a chair in front of the closet, and moves on. You see that they just moved in. There's boxes all over the place. She's starting to unpack. She hears something in the basement, says, "Dear God, please don't let it be rats," and goes to look. Well, it cuts to a brief shot of the closet door opening on its own, the chair moving. Back to the mom in the basement, finds a box, which is photos of the Winchesters.
It's so
cute.
Which
was a big oh shit moment, because that's when I realized this must be the house that it happened in.
Yeah.
With Mary Winchester's death and all that.
It's actually really sad that the pictures are still there. Like, it's been 20 years.
Yeah, that shows how quick they got the hell out of Dodge with that house.
They didn't even go back for the photos. And it's the same photo that Sam had when he lived at Stanford. His photo's gone. Dean has a copy, but like, this is the photo of the Winchesters.
And you could see the all cute look on Jenny's face while she's looking through these photos, like aw.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think that she would have done what she did later in this episode if she hadn't found this photo first. Like,
I think the episode would have went a complete different direction
if they just knocked on the door. No.
Who are you? Yeah. 991. Hey, help me. I got some weirdos on the porch.
Honestly, it still makes me like, I don't know, just as a female presenting person to like have like these two men show up at your door and just be like, yes, please come into my home where I'm alone with my two children.
I mean, in general, yes, but if it's Jensen and Jared, it might be a different story.
So true. They're just so large. Like they're gentle, they're friendly, but if you're not certain that they're friendly, that's a gamble.
But anyways, it cuts back to the upstairs. The closet door now fully opened, and you see the embodiment of what the girl's afraid of is a swirling ball of flame.
Yeah, terrifying.
It cuts to a motel room with Sam seeing the mom knocking in a window, like waving for help. Sam jolts awake due to I can't tell if it was a train horn or a truck horn, but he jumps up, and it cuts to Dean reading articles looking for their next lead. Was it on a newspaper or a computer? I couldn't tell.
I honestly couldn't tell you. I just watched this episode and I couldn't say. All I remember is any of this blowing up your skirt, pal. That's all I remember.
Well, yeah, because Sam was off in La La Land while he was drawing a tree.
Yeah.
But that tree did stand out because Sam realizes while he's drawing the tree that, wait a minute, I recognize this tree. Goes back, looks at photos of the old house, and is like, hey, Dean, we got to go home.
This is a good memory for Sam, honestly, considering Sam basically never really lived in that house. Like, he was 6 months old. Like, to recognize that tree is quite the feat.
Well, was it from memory or from memory of the photographs?
The photographs, but even still, like they're in the background of the photograph of like the family. Like it's not like the photograph is of the tree. It's just in the background.
Yes. But Sam, Dean's like skeptical. Why do we got to go back to Lawrence? And Sam's like, look, I've been having these nightmares that come true. Like I dreamt about Jessica's death before it happened. I didn't do anything because I thought it was just dreams.
Yeah, and that's news to Dean, not news to us, the audience, because we kind of learned that in Bloody Mary. Yeah. In episode 5. But Dean did not know that.
No. There's a lot of these boys don't know about each other.
They do not like to talk to one another.
No. They remind me so much of me and my own brother. It's sickening because like I'll BS with my brother, but when we talk, it's usually about sports, politics, work. Do we talk about personal stuff? No.
Oh, yeah, that's me and my brother as well.
But anyways, boys go back to Kansas to visit the new tenants. Jenny goes on about all of the little maintenance things and upkeep that need done on the house. Sari asks if they're going to ask her mom if she's going to tell them about the thing in the closet. Sam and Dean are both like, what thing in the closet? Well, when Sari tells them what's going on with that, Sam freaks out. They go outside and they're talking and realize that, yeah, there's something here. This is the house that our mother died in. We need to figure this out. But to figure out what's going on now, we need to figure out what happened then and if it's the same thing. Which Dean sneaks off, says he's going to go use the little boy's room, but picks up his cell phone, tries calling John, leaves a voicemail, and it's a little bit touching because you could tell that Dean is on the verge of tears while leaving this voicemail.
It is heartbreaking. Honestly, if you didn't already hate John Winchester, this is the time to hate him.
I don't know. I think the last scene of the episode is where you really want to start hating him.
Yeah. But to get that voicemail and then, yeah, we get the episode, like those two things combined, like, oh, bad parenting happening here.
I mean, haven't we figured out that they're the bad parenting the whole time? I mean, look at what these boys have grown up to do. And they call it the family tradition. What?
And it's just like the begging and like the tears. Like, I don't know. Jensen is so good at this like particular type of acting. Like he's so good at this.
The tough guy that's secretly softy, yes. Mm-hmm. But it then cuts to a plumber coming to fix the kitchen sink that Jenny had mentioned was clogged. You clearly see him unplug it and flip the switch to make sure there's no power to it. And yet while he's reaching into the sink, it turns on and eats his arm.
I still just don't think you should put your arm in there. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I know he unplugged it. It should be safe, but my instincts tell me you just never stick your hand in there.
I mean, this episode's going to give me nightmares because I'm a plumber myself.
Oh, God. And are you from a part of the world where garbage disposals are common? They're very uncommon here. Not many people have them.
Really? No, we have them everywhere here. I'm actually disappointed that my house doesn't have one.
I don't think I know anyone that has a garbage disposal here.
Like, well, no, in the, I don't know if you want to call it East Coast or Rust Belt, but they're very common.
Good to know, honestly. Because I see them in TV all the time, and I'm like, I don't know anyone that actually has one. I mean, you only see them in TV when someone's getting horribly maimed or killed.
The hotel I work at, every room has one.
In the hotel, wow.
So
I feel like they break. I feel like I only see them on, if they're not killing somebody on TV, then they're broken on TV.
I mean, they wouldn't be a very good storytelling device otherwise.
It's so true.
But the biggest thing that jumped out at me was that I guess was like I don't know if it was just to add aura to the scene, but the weird cymbal playing monkey.
I believe that's a Shining reference.
That would make sense because it would be the second. That would have been the second Shining reference in this episode then. Because I mean, Dean does say, so you're just gonna spring it on me all of a sudden that you're going all full out Shining on us when Sam says he was having the nightmares.
Yeah, I believe that's a Shining reference. And then I think also just like a common horror trope is like the toy that plays. And I think like the monkey in particular is really common.
Is that the monkey? Would that be a Shining reference or a Poltergeist reference?
It might be a Poltergeist reference, honestly. Considering the content of this episode. It's definitely some classic horror movie. I don't like horror movies. I don't know how I got here.
You don't like horror.
I don't like horror.
But you run a supernatural podcast.
Yes. Somehow in my brain those two things are different.
Yo, Twitter, where do you find these people for me? I'm joking. But anyways, the boys at this point go to start doing some research to figure out more about what's going on. They visit the garage that John used to co-own and talk to his old business partner. He mentions that after the fire, John started losing his mind and he wanted him to go get help. But disapproved of the type of help John went to because instead of going to a psychologist, John went to a psychic.
Yeah, I mean, this is so horrible. I have so many questions. I'm so glad that there is a missing persons report on John and the kids because, like, this guy's wife died in seemingly somewhat mysterious circumstances. And then he, like, within 2 weeks, he's taken the kids and he's gone. He's left town.
Well, don't forget, at the end of Skin, apparently according to the government, Dean is dead.
Yeah, I mean, there's that. But like, I mean, like, just like to be like, okay, this guy's wife died under mysterious circumstances. He's been acting a little bit crazy. He won't go get help, and now he just picks up the kids and he leaves, and no one sees him again. We have a segment called Call CBS on Supernatural Opinions, and this is what it's for.
Call CBS.
Yeah. It's for this. It's because someone should be.
Wait, what is CBS?
Or CPS, like Child Protective
CPS.
Service.
Okay. Because I was gonna say it would make sense if this was aired on CBS, but the last I checked, it was WB.
Oh, good old WB.
No, at this point in time, it was still WB. Never mind.
Yeah, it's WB until season 2, I want to say, and then it became the CW.
Either way, he says John went to go get help, but went to a psychic, not a psychologist. Sam's looking through the white pages. Dating the episode again.
Yeah, honestly, the white pages are something I honestly barely remember. But yeah, I mean, definitely dated. You can really track this whole show by how good the cell phones are. Like, that is a clear marker on what's happening.
Oh yeah, I mean the cell phone Dean uses when he tries to call John was one of the ones where you still had to slide the antenna out.
And I think it's season 2. Sam has a very specific Motorola that only existed in like 2006 and 2007.
Oh boy.
It's very specific, and they must have had a product deal because like there's a few shots where you can see like the logo on it and everything.
Yeah, I'm gonna point out again, because that Kate is the one that's actually seen the whole show. I only watched the first couple seasons, and that was like when it was first out. So this is like me look with fresh eyes on it. So I'm and watching it now. I laugh at how dated some of these the things are in this, like the fact that they actually brought the folio out at the library for them to flip through the card catalog.
Oh, it's delightful. I have one of my best friends is a graphic designer, and I made her watch Supernatural. And the first time that she watched an episode and they looked something up on the internet, she's like, "That website is horrible." It is the most 2005 website.
I wasn't even caring about the website. It was the first episode when they got to the library, seeing the old blocky Macintosh computer sitting there. I'm like, dude, my grandmother had one of those at her house when I was in grade school.
My parents had a computer like that until the mid 2010s. So,
but anyways, Sam's going through the good old white pages, looking up psychics in the area, just naming them off. Dean has a start at one of the names, Missouri Mosley. And he's like, wait a minute, that can't be. Goes to John's journal, and the first thing written on the first page is, went to Missouri, learned the truth.
They've just never asked their dad a single question in their lives, is what I gathered from this episode. Sam doesn't know that Dean's the one that carried him out of the fire. They never asked any questions about what it is that the truth was on the first page of the journal. No questions asked about that.
No, and Dean just looks when they says went to Missouri to learn the truth, and Dean's just like, I always thought he meant the state.
I would have liked some more details if that was my assumption.
Well, they go to visit Missouri, and without them even introducing themselves, well, Sam and Dean, come on now. I ain't got all day.
I love Missouri so much.
Oh, her character was awesome. I loved her in this episode. Doing some research, finding out that she was initially meant to be the boy's mentor moving on. It would be heartbreaking to me that they didn't end up moving on with her in that role, if it weren't for how much I absolutely love the character that they brought in to fill that role.
Yeah, it is. It's hard now to be like, oh, that was the wrong choice, because that character is so good. But yeah, I mean, Grey's Anatomy took Geoffrey Dean Morgan and Loretta Devine from us.
I mean, we still got JDF back.
Yeah.
Or JDM back. JDF, Jesus God. Rest in peace, Tommy.
But yeah, I mean, they were just busy. So that's how things played out with that.
But this scene here with them at Missouri's office was a high candidate. I'm going to give a spoiler now. It's not my favorite episode of the favorite scene of this episode, but it was up there just because of how hilarious the interactions were between her and Dean.
Yeah, they're really good. I mean, right from the second they're in there. Honestly, even when she's like showing the guy out and she like turns around, she's like, his wife's banging the gardener. Like, honestly, like she's perfect from the minute we see her.
Oh, that poor man, his wife. Yeah. Well, then why'd you tell him why'd you tell him everything was fine? Boy, because these people don't come here for the truth. They come here to hear what makes them happy.
Remember that at the end of the episode.
That or the other line that had me dying in this scene was, boy, if you even put your feet on that table, I'm hitting you with a wooden spoon. What? I didn't do anything. No, but you thought it. Like, I loved this woman. I loved this character in this episode.
Yeah, honestly, she is perfect and definitely like an underused character.
Oh yeah, but obviously she knows the boys as soon as they get there and can apparently read minds because of everything that she just catches about Jessica, about Dean wanting to put his feet on the table and getting shot down. All of that, it's great. It cuts back to a scene at Jenny's house where the pin rises up out of the baby gate and the child lock on the fridge comes open. Her son gets trapped in the fridge.
Narrowly avoids a disaster.
Yeah. Well, as soon as she gets her son out of the fridge, the boys in Missouri are knocking at the door. Missouri walks through and is saying that it's not the same thing that killed Mary. but there are now multiple spirits. She says one of them is definitely a poltergeist, and there's something else that she can't quite identify. She decides that the best plan to solve this house's problem is to place totems inside of the four corners of the house on every floor. All three of them get attacked while they're placing them. Missouri in the basement gets a table thrown at her. Dean in the kitchen gets knives thrown at him. And Sam up on the second floor gets, well, damn near choked out by a lamp cord.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, kind of iconic in terms of near deaths. Like, it's a plan. It goes wrong. It's just kind of what this show does.
Yeah. Anyways, once the last totem is placed in the wall, it cuts to an exterior shot where you see a white surge of light burst out from the house. Which at this point, Missouri's like, all right, this house is clean. We're good to go. It's done. Well, Sam thinks otherwise, and they decide to do a stakeout out in front of the house.
Yeah.
And thank God for that, because it didn't work.
Yeah. I remember when we recorded this episode, I had a thing that I brought from yet another Supernatural podcast, because there were just so many. But my friend August from Saving People Queering Things pointed this out, like that this kind of parallels Dead in the Water episode 3, where they think they're done with the case, and Dean's like, no, like we have to go back, we have to.
Yes.
Like go, and like this time it's Sam who's like, no, this is not done. I don't care what Missouri says. Like, let's just check. Like, let's just stay and be absolutely sure.
I love how Dean is always the. I love how sarcastic and just blunt Dean is. He's like, yeah, whatever, Sam. I could be sleeping in a hotel bed right now.
As though it's the first time they've ever slept in the car. It's not.
And I'm sure it's not going to be the last time.
I actually kind of like love that like Missouri is in this episode. Like the fact that she's wrong is kind of significant in this episode, but also like Dean is so freaked out at the start of the episode that Sam has powers, and then like they meet Missouri and she's like reading minds and doing stuff Sam definitely cannot do, as far as we know. And like, and yet, it kind of tempers the like anxiety about Sam having weird abilities, but then later on, like we get to now, and Sam's right and Missouri's wrong.
Yes. And does it throw you through a loop at all that Dean is so freaked out over Sam having these powers, yet when they meet Missouri, it's just like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna run with it?
I think it doesn't actually. I think that like Missouri seems very, I don't know, Missouri just has a calming presence to her, but also like Dean is so hyper protective of Sam that like Sam displaying any unnatural ability, anything that like even minorly resembles supernatural, is like a cause for concern for Dean.
Good point. But anyways, it obviously didn't work. Jenny goes to bed and is jerked right back up when the bed starts to shake.
Oh yeah, like straight out of the poltergeist.
The fire demon comes out of the closet in the little girl's room again. Sam and Dean are in the car, and Sam sees Jenny at the window waving for help, like we saw in the first scene of the episode when Sam gets woken up after the nightmare. They kick in the front door. Dean tells Sam to go get the kids. He's going to go get Jenny. Dean kicks in Jenny's door, gets her out of the house. Sam has the little boy, what's his name? Richard, right?
Richie, yeah.
Richie goes to Sari's room, walks around the outside of the room to avoid touching the fire demon, grabs Sari and gets out of Dodge.
There's something so personal about, I don't know, I'm a big Sam fan and I love Sam, and like there's something about Sam just like with like 2 children, just like I'm just like, this is nice. I'm glad to see you being a hero.
But Sam gets the kids to the door, and perfect callback to the first episode. Sam pretty much taking the role of John, telling Sari, take your brother and go.
Yeah, and Sam had established in the beginning of the episode that he didn't know that Dean was the one to carry him out, so he did not know that that's what John said.
No, but then Sam gets yanked back into the house, gets pinned up against the fridge, And Dean at this point finds out that Sam's got pulled back in by the demon, grabs the good old shotgun with salt pellets.
I
Out of the
actually genuinely laughed when I don't know what about this was funny, but something about Dean running with an axe in one hand and a sawed-off shotgun in the other. I was like, this looks ridiculous.
Yes, yes, I loved it. The same. If I'm not mistaken, the same axe that he was using to that he was using to break holes in the walls to place the totems earlier in the episode.
Yeah. But like both of those are like two-handed like activities, like shotgun or axe. Yeah, he's just got like one in each hand. I'm like, neither of those are gonna go well.
But he busts into he chops down the front door, runs in to see Sam in the kitchen with the fire demon in front of him, loads up the shotgun, is ready to bust a cap in it, and Sam's like, "No, don't." Dean's like, "Huh?" Sam's like, "No, I know who it is." And you see it clear up, and oh god, it's Mary.
Notice Sam says that before it gets clear.
Yes.
That's important. In this episode where Sam's doing weird psychic stuff, just saying she was not visible when Sam said he knew who it was.
No, but I mean, I think that was a creative decision, because I think if we would have seen Mary before that Sam made it clear that he knew who it was, would have probably been less impactful. But
this is Sam's first time ever seeing their mom, like, not in a photograph.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. But you see Mary turn around after apologizing to Sam, and Sam's like, "For what?" She turns around, looks up at the ceiling, and is like, "You get out of my house and let go of my son." She bursts into flames. Sam gets dropped. They cut outside where Missouri's saying both spirits are gone for good. Mary destroyed herself to kill the poltergeist. The boys leave. Missouri goes home and has company sitting on her couch.
Whew, the anger that this induces in me. I hate John Winchester with a passion.
But the line that she says when she walks in the house is a bit of a kick. She's like, "Man, that boy's got some extraordinary powers, and yet he couldn't even sense his own father."
I don't think he wants to, honestly.
Then she yells at John. She's like, "John Winchester, I could slap you right now. You need to go see them boys." John's like, "I can't until I know the truth," and that's the end of that's the way the line that the episode ends on.
Absolutely, just excuses on excuses.
Yes, and I will say, as great as this episode is, there was one part of it, one facet to this episode that really burns me.
Oh, I gotta know what it is. No, I know. I was listening for it. I was like, looking. I keep a spreadsheet, and I was like, okay, like maybe I just like didn't write it down that day. No, there's nothing. It's all scored, and it's not even like a scoring that's familiar. There's no Dean's theme or anything. I don't know if you're familiar with Dean's theme.
I'm sure I will be as this progresses, but it was all unique instrumental orchestral accompaniments. There was no hard rock. There was no classic rock in this one.
Nothing.
It kind of broke my heart, because I'm like, well, that's going to kill that segment.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I was disappointed too. I was like, I don't remember what music was in this episode. Nothing. I don't remember it because it doesn't exist.
Yeah, because I also generally cheat when I'm going through these episodes, because I'll look on IMDb at the episode episode credits at the bottom where it says where the soundtrack section is, and I'm looking. I'm like, okay, so either people got lazy this early in the show and didn't update that, or this is going to be an interesting one. Well,
it was interesting. There was only time for emotionally inducing piano.
I will say this much. This might be the first episode that me and Kate would have heard the same music.
Yeah.
Because
is one of you streaming and one of you on DVDs?
Yeah, I went before when we decided we were going to launch this and bought the whole series box set on the DVD.
That's what I did. Well, I almost never use them, but in season 1, the music is not correct. So,
and just season 1?
Just season 1.
Okay, thank God.
Yeah.
That's a relief because
Yeah, it's a licensing issue or something. All the streaming services have replacement music. There's some points where it's like a problem. But
yes. All I know is they're like the first episode. We realized real quick that this was going to be bad because the first episode I mentioned one of the songs that was played, and Kate's like, "Huh."
there's an episode, I think it's a little later in the season, where Dean's singing along to the radio and then they changed out the song. So they had to like cut part of him singing because he was singing words to a different song than what they ended up putting in.
Oh yeah. The other one that what was the one? Let me go back here. The one that Kate was definitely like, "What are you talking about?" Which episode was it?
Honestly, it was probably the pilot. Like,
maybe because I'm not seeing notes. I'm not recognizing any of them on the notes that are from my past episodes. But oh no, the one episode where it ends with the boys driving away to Power Man 5000, but Kate swears it was played earlier in the episode.
huh.
Might have been episode 2.
Yeah. Yeah, it probably was episode 2.
Because I did not take notes for the first episode, which is why the first episode was a train wreck to record.
Yeah, I think one of them has a Rush song and then one of them has something else. It's probably episode 2.
Yeah, that or the one that was great was that the music they played during the show's broadcast versus what they have on the streaming was bad. Because I know like the one point where was Hey Man I Shot? That was during the Skin episode, I believe.
Oh yeah.
Like when Dean freaking busts into the sewer and blows it away with the shotgun.
Yeah.
Or with the flare gun. It starts playing "Hey Man, Nice Shot" by on the broadcast, but it was replaced by something that made absolutely no sense. And
yeah, some of the choices are bad on the replacements.
Yes. Either way, that didn't really have much to do in that with music breakdown. We're gonna hit the next segment here easily because I think we'll both agree where the score goes on this one. But the Skirt Magnet scorecard. There was no romantic vibes in this one that I picked up, so I'm gonna say no skirts.
Yeah, no skirts.
All right, let's edit that and update it. And yes, I know we're going to get back to episodes 7 and 8, and the score will be off based on if you're watching the episodes in order, but c'est la vie.
Yeah, that's what happens sometimes in podcasting.
I will say the reason why we're okay with skipping those and going back to them is because they really added nothing to the overall lore.
Yeah, there's nothing there.
Okay, what is a poltergeist? The vibe that I got, let me bring that up, that so I am saying the right description here. It says in ghost lore, off of Wikipedia, by the way, a poltergeist is German for rumbling ghost or noisy spirit, is a type of ghost or spirit that is responsible for physical disturbances such as loud noises and objects being moved or destroyed. Most claims of fictional descriptions of poltergeist show them as being capable of pinching, biting, hitting, and tripping people.
Yep, just destructive ghost.
Which works out well because think about this episode with the lamp being moved and the cord choking Sam getting slammed against the fridge, the knives that go airborne that thrown at Dean, and the fact that Missouri straight up says it's a poltergeist.
Yeah,
it fits this episode. I do have a list for further information on certain backgrounds and legends. A stream of famous instances of poltergeist scrolling across the bottom of the screen, including the drummer of Tedworth from 1662, the Epworth Rectory poltergeist from 1716. The most recent one on here, I believe, popped up. It said was from the
There's so many.
The most recent one is the Ammons Haunting case from 2014.
2014, that's pretty recent.
Those are there's been a couple movies made about certain ones on here, like from 1975, the Amityville case, which was the inspiration for the movie The Amityville Horror. The Matthew Manning poltergeist from the 1960s to the 1970s, which was, if I'm not mistaken, the inspiration behind the first movie and the entire franchise of the poltergeist films. So like there's a lot of great legends to look into if you wanted. And we got a couple comments here.
Oh, comments.
Nick Link pops in saying, I came and heard Dean's theme being mentioned.
Oh, you know, I got to spread that wherever we go.
Yeah, I'm assuming Nick being one of your fans?
Yes.
Okay. But yeah, no, like there's a lot of good ones. Poltergeists, there in other media as well. There's one that instantly pops to mind, but I was not able to. But I actually chose not to use that as the one for this episode. But anybody that's fan of fantasy and whatnot will probably immediately think of the Peeves the Poltergeist from the Harry Potter series.
That's pretty famous.
But the one that I want to talk about that is that they don't specifically say it's poltergeists, but if you look at the actions in these film series, it's pretty obvious. If you want to see good recreations of what poltergeists do in lore, I would highly recommend checking out the Paranormal Activity series. Great, almost like mockumentary style.
Yeah, like first person, like
hidden camera type series.
It's on my list to tackle this Halloween. I allow myself one horror franchise per year that I suck it up and I watch. And you know what? Honestly, I do like most of them. I just am scared.
Have you done the Leprechaun series yet?
I have not.
Oh my God. Add that one to it. A lot of them aren't so much funny as they are just campy and hysterical.
Okay, campy I could probably do.
Not to mention the first movie was the debut of Jennifer Aniston.
Oh wow. Iconic then.
Yes. Even though she will go and say that it is the biggest regret of her career.
Oh, well, got her face on TV and film, so
yeah. I did have a couple images to throw up on here, but unfortunately they apparently didn't save to the right type of picture file, so we're not going to have that, unfortunately. But yes, in other media, check out the Paranormal Activity series. Good representation of the types of hauntings that poltergeists do. Did you have any particular favorite scene in this episode?
Honestly, it's gonna probably sound weird, but I actually really like the John and Missouri scene at the very end of the episode. I think there's a lot of subtext in that scene about John's parenting, about what is actually going on with John. This is our first like real confirmation, aside from like, oh, he updated his voicemail inbox that he's alive, which is good information for us to have. And you know, it does bring me a rage of John here clearly getting that voicemail from Dean and arriving in Lawrence, Kansas, but not seeing or speaking to either of his children.
Okay, I could see that one. For me, it was actually the I'm linking these together, even though there was another little bit of stuff in between it. But Sam rescuing the kids, letting them go, and the parallel to the first episode with John sending Sam and Dean out, and then the discussion with Sam and Dean at the end with when I told Sarah to take her brother and go. He's like, that's weird. That's the same thing Dad did with me, having me carry you out.
Yeah, I mean that's such a great parallel. Like it could have come off as like really like contrived because they always like almost word for word what John says, but like it just doesn't. Like it's genuinely really good.
Well, I took it as maybe it's an outsider's perspective that hasn't seen more of the series, but I took it as a way of showing that whether there's that resentment or not, that Sam and John are more alike than they think.
And they are like they're headed down the same path right now. Like John went on this path to find the thing and kill Mary. Sam's now on the same path looking for the same thing to find the thing that killed Jess. Like they're on this same revenge path, and they are much more alike than either of them, I think, would like to admit.
The other thing that broke out to me, wait, I gotta double check if it was this episode or the last one.
Oh, I can't believe I picked the John and Missouri scene and I didn't talk about the Sam, Mary, Dean scene. Because that's a whole scene that happens where like they see the ghost of their mom and she sacrifices herself because she apologizes to them and to Sam specifically, and like that's something I think you're gonna want to just keep in the back of your head.
Yes. I definitely know that with the premise of the prequel series, which apparently is what your show is now focusing on.
Yes, if
I know that I'm taking it that part of the apology is probably because it was their. Don't tell me if I'm right, but feel free to shoot me down if I'm way off topic and wrong. But I'm taking that as Mary acknowledging the fact that it was her family's background and her lifestyle before settling down to start a family that is what she's apologizing for, because that's what's coming back to bite them in the ass.
Yeah, I'm gonna say nothing, and my trapdoor will not be activated.
Okay, so at least I am at least barking up the right tree. Got it.
But yeah, honestly, and like if you're not looking to do like that close of a reading of it, just like apologizing because like she literally missed their entire lives. Like they're adults now, and she's been dead their whole lives. Sam has no memories of his mother.
Good point, because he was still a toddler when she passed. All right. The fun one, 7 Circles of Hell rating scale. I think you've watched enough to figure out how where the 7 circles fall.
I could use a refresher, to be honest.
It's I'm not gonna lie, I kind of modeled the 7 Circles of Hell rating scale off of the Rose and Bomb rating scale that they do on Talkville.
Amazing.
But the first 3 circles are like where the weak sinners lie. So they're not that they're bad. they're not impressive. They're just whatever. So those are the worst episodes. 4th circle is like the neutral ground where it's neither great nor terrible. And then 5, 6, and 7 are the good episodes. With 7 being like
the best episode that could exist.
Yeah. And I would say I'm going to put this one solidly in the middle in circle 6.
That's where I was going to put it as well. Like it's pretty solid.
With the lore, with how great the character of Missouri is, like the fact that the comedy's there, it's got the spooky, the scary elements.
Yeah, we're ramping up this like whatever's going on with Sam thing to a new level. Like there's intrigue and there's mystery and there's emotions.
The fact that it ties back to the larger story arc with them trying to find John and getting more answers about what happened to their mother. Like the Freak of the Week episodes are great, but the big thing for me is how it ties together with the bigger story, and I loved it.
Yeah, I'm very much here to see these two brothers go on a journey. And so yeah, I'm always here for like the big plot ones.
Do you want to give any shout outs like about what you're doing with your projects? If any of our followers want to tune in?
Yeah, for sure. So I have 2 different Supernatural Universe podcasts. So my first one is Supernatural Opinions. We are currently covering season 3 of Supernatural. And my other one is Wayward Parents, where we are week by week watching the Winchesters as it comes out. And those come out weekly before the next episode. So we try to cover those by the weekend before the new episode comes out on Tuesday. And yeah, that's about it. I mean, you can find those on any social media or anywhere where you listen to podcasts. If you just look for Supernatural Opinions or Wayward Parents, you'll find me.
Okay. Definitely the follow them at, hold on, where is it? At SPN Opinions Pod.
Yep.
But no, the fact that you're running 2 separate podcasts as well, that's impressive, because that's the same thing I'm doing, except they're 2 separate fields, because Wayward Guns, and then I also do a sports talk podcast called Mooncutter Sportscast. But I know for me, finding time to do these, as well as, you know, the day-to-day of having of work and trying to keep a house together, it's rough.
Yeah, it is a lot of work, more than I think most people realize. But it's fun and I love it. So I keep doing it.
Well, we appreciate the fact that that you do. Like minds, and the fact that you have the same passion that we do here.
Yeah,
is
I mean,
awesome.
I've met so many incredible people doing it. So there's just so many people creating content in the fandom, consuming content in the fandom. So welcome, I guess. Like, you're 7 episodes in.
Yeah, I'm excited for the rest of this journey, even though those that have been hearing since episode 1 with Mooncutters know that this show might get hilarious come season 4.
Yeah, and you know what? Honestly, sometimes that's for the best. Like, you just kind of got to go where the vibe is taking you, and you know, if you don't like it, you don't like it. It's not for everybody, but on the other hand, you know, I think watching it to do a podcast about it and watching it to just watch it are 2 very different things. Like, you could binge this show in a couple weeks, I think.
No, I'll definitely say it's completely different, because watching it just to watch it, it's like, okay, whatever. But watching it to do a podcast, I actually have to pay attention and take notes.
Yeah, you're paying attention. You're looking for connections. You're definitely looking for like deeper stuff than like, yeah, if you're watching, you know, if you're watching one a week and you're taking copious notes on it and you're like preparing to talk about different arcs versus like, I'm going to watch 8 episodes tonight because I'm binging this show and I'm going to get the whole 15 seasons done in a few weeks. Like,
Team No Lifing it. Got it.
Yeah. I mean, it happens.
But any other shout outs where they can follow you? I know I just said your Twitter tag, but
the only other place besides Twitter I really consistently hang out is TikTok. I'm at SPN Opinions KJ on TikTok. That's usually I'm there, you know, doing my best to make people as sad as possible about the show.
As sad as possible.
Yeah, I'm gonna find the saddest thing, and that's what I'm gonna make a video about.
Okay, Debbie Downer. But
the angst.
I'll say you've been great. Thanks for coming on, and definitely, as I said, I wasn't sure at first, but why you were so quick to jump on claiming this episode. But after watching it, I fully understand.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This has been a blast.
Yeah, let me give my sign offs and whatnot, and then stay on, because I'll BS with you for a few minutes after we go off the air.
Amazing.
Definitely look forward to hopefully having you back down the line.
I would love to come back.
Awesome. Hopefully Kate can be here that time. But make sure you follow us on Twitter at Wayward Guns. Follow me on Twitter at TJE Joker, as you see on screen, TJEGEOCUR. You can follow my other show at Mooncutters. It's a sports talk podcast. We just dropped a great interview with a fellow from the Philly podcast, going over the Eagles and hyping their appearance in this Sunday's coming Super Bowl. Subscribe. Best way to help out and help this grow is to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Running Force Productions. It's the logo up in the upper right-hand side of your screen right now. The more we can get subscribed on there and the more interaction we can get on YouTube, the quicker it's going to help me and Kate get to the point where we might actually be able to devote more time to doing this, because we won't have to work as much. Otherwise, that we still got some work to do on it, but we do have our Patreon launched, patreon.com/waywardguns. That's the second best way to help us grow the show. But there are Patreon loyalty tiers on there that will help you get some great swag. So check us out there. Otherwise, this is Geoffrey with special guest KJ from the Supernatural Opinions podcast, signing off. Catch you down the road.